Hello guys, we are going to learn about ink blot test. The test in the field of psychology is very popular with Rorschach and Holtzman. While going through the test, some important aspects to be seen by the researcher. Psychology is the field which is where many researches are going till the date. And so I want to share with all of you what I feel about this test, ink blot test. My video will help you not only to write the question about ink blot test, but also help you to learn more aspects of ink blot test, and that will directly help you in the examination to write the questions. So the things which are not inserted in our book of IGNOU, I'm going to share with you. Just for the convenience of understanding by you people, I am going to add some concept regarding the points in our book. So if we understand the concepts, we can understand better what is ink blot test. So now we are going to see how to write the question about ink blot test. Personality theories and assessment. Our course code is given here and assignment course also given here. So the total marks are 100. Here we are going to see Rorschach and another person, Holtzman, who has shared a great contribution in the ink blot test. Many things will be here. The three questions are here in the section A, one of which is describe the ink blot techniques. Actual answer begins on page number 45 to 49 of our soft copy. Following are the questions which can be asked on the same material, means the material which I am going to share with you. There are another questions including ink blot test. Define projective techniques as a tool of assessment. Second is the explain various projective techniques in detail. Third is discuss the classification of projective techniques according to the various researchers. And fourth one is the critically evaluate various personality testing procedures. Introduction. In the question pattern, we have to divide this total answer of the question into three parts. First is the introduction. Second part will be the main body of the answer, and third will be the conclusion of the question or the material we have read. So when we think about the personality assessment, the first aspect we have to see what is personality assessment. Second aspect is purpose behind personality assessment. And third will be methods of personality assessments. It means that introduction includes the answer of these three questions. So when we think about personality assessment refers to the estimation of one's personality makeup, that is the person's characteristic behavior patterns and salient and stable characteristics. So, while going through the personality assessment, what is to be thought about? That the behavioral pattern of that person, salient and stable characteristics in his personality. Second one, it is also important to note here that personality assessment may also differ with respect to the purposes for which it is done. Because while assessing the personality, there are various purposes behind it. So, one of the purpose may be or just to uh, find out the intelligence capacity of the particular person. Second purpose may be just to find out his like or dislike to decide his or her profession. Another purpose may be that just to differentiate between the persons in the group while assessing the personality. Many more purposes or the aims or the goals may be there of assessing the personality. The methods of estimating or measuring or assessing personality vary according to the theory of personality used to develop those methods. If the personality is being assessed, different kind of methods of assessing personality may be used because the purpose is different, and so the methods will be different. The method which suits to the case study will be used, or accordingly we can use the best part of each method of personality assessment which suits to the our study, our research. And so that is a equative kind of method, means taking the best part of each method suiting to our research. Again, some of the important tests and techniques measuring personality include, while measuring the personality, uh, different types are there which are available to us. We can use while assessing the personality. So, one is the interviews, second, projective techniques, third is association techniques, fourth is the expressive techniques. Three categories, several tests and inventories. There are several tests or inventories which are available for assessment of personality. Broadly, this can be grasped into one of three categories. These are subjective methods, objective methods, and projective methods. The present test, that is ink block technique, is consisted in the group of projective method. Here are the three methods. Where does our ink block technique lies? That lies in the projective method. So accordingly now it will be sure for us that we have to see projective methods in detail because we have to learn ink blot technique. Classification of projective techniques. This is also the part of the introduction. There are the various types of projective techniques classified by several psychologists or researchers. These are constructive, constitutive, cathartic, interpretative, and refractive. Salient characteristic of projective techniques, because we are going to learn ink blot technique, which is the part of the projective technique. So we have to see the salient characteristics of projective techniques, and that should be included in introduction. Revelation of traits in unconscious mind. Whatever there is in our unconscious mind, this projective technique want to bring all the desires, wishes, dreams which are in our unconscious mind. We can find all these thoughts in unconscious mind. We can reveal them with the help of projective techniques. Second thing is the characteristic of projective technique, that is relation between hidden issues with behavior. Means some hidden issues in the unconscious mind which affect the behavior of that particular person. Sometimes we don't know that these behavior are related to hidden issues. Even the individual does not know, but psychiatrists or psychologists knows all these things. He wants to find out that relation between the hidden issues in unconscious mind with the direct behavior which is noted by the naked eyes. That behavior we can observe, but the hidden issues we can't observe. But with the help of projective techniques, we can find out the reasons that outward behavior is seen. So, unconscious motivations, hidden desires, inner fears, and complexes are tried to be drawn out by the unstructured nature that affect the client's conscious behavior. Means even the person does not know that these are the unconscious fears, desire which are affecting his conscious behavior. Only this can be found out with the help of projective techniques. Display of unstructured tasks is the another characteristic or the traits of the projective technique, where the assignment of relatively unstructured tasks is a major distinguishing feature of the projective technique, because whatever is presented for the individual by the psychologist or the psychiatrist, that is the unstructured task, and uh, the man or the individual or the subject, he has to structure that task according to his intelligence, his emotional qualities, and etc. etc. Where in the intro we have seen the very key word of our theory, an unstructured task. What is the unstructured task? The unstructured task is one that permits an endless range of possible responses. And doing that unstructured task, the responses given by the individuals are numberless. And so these responses are to be observed by the researcher, and he has to categorize those responses according to the sheet of score, according to the sheet of score. And so when the unstructured task is that permits an endless range of possible responses. So the underlying hypothesis of projective techniques, examiner provision of test material or structure. What does examiner do? He provides that test material or structure for the examinee. And what does examinee do? He pursues or interprets while structuring the material. Okay. And so that is the hypothesis. He does this or examinee does that. The underlying hypothesis of projective techniques is that the way the test material or structures are pursued and interpreted by the individual reflects the fundamental aspects of her or his psychological functioning. It means the way of the projective technique and the reflection of examinee reveals the fundamental aspects of his or her psychological functioning, and from this finding the psychologist or the researcher infers the conclusion of the test. In other words, we can explain this point. Test material serves as a sort of screen, projector's screen, on which respondents project their thought processes, anxieties, conflicts, needs, or his responses. It does mean a material, test material plays the role of screen and the responses plays the role of projection. Study material or the test material serve as screen on which respondents project their characteristics, thoughts, conflicts, needs, confusion, whatever he responds, that is shown on the screen of the test material. Classification of projective techniques. Classification, construction techniques, constitutive techniques, cathartic techniques, interpretative technique or reflective technique. That is also included in short in introduction part. We can include these points or we can exclude them according to our need of the writing answer, particular answer, which issue should be explained, which should be curtailed, that is to be decided by the person who is going to write the answer of the question. Now, the ink blot technique. The ink blot techniques consist of two popular techniques, that is the Rorschach test and the Holtzman ink blot test. In this test, the examinee has to respond to an unstructured situation composed of some ink blots. It does mean that in the test material, the main content is the ink blots, and from those ink blots, that individual has to respond. Now, the main body of the answer begins now. Introduction is over here. Ink blot test. A test used in clinical psychology and psychiatry involving ink blots. The ink blots are used to determine what a person pursues or reads into in an enigmatic and highly ambiguous shapes. It does mean that there are shapes of ink blots and these shapes are ambiguous or enigmatic. In simple word, we can say mysterious blot means the meaning is to be found by that individual, and so the responses are observed, the different responses, because the shapes are very ambiguous, they are not clear, they are enigmatic, they are in doubt how to respond them. Okay, so 10 standardized blots are shown one at a time to a subject and their responses are recorded. It means that in ink blot test, 10 ink blot cards are given to the subject. These ink blot cards are standardized, means they are decided by the group of psychologists or the person who are studying in that field. Okay, and then the responses of the individual are recorded. The ink blot technique belongs to constitutive type of projective technique. First, it is clear for all of us that ink blot technique is a part of projective technique, and it is also the constitutive type of projective techniques, because we have seen the projective technique can be used, can be applied by different kind of tests. That is, in the last earlier we have seen that, I think. Okay, just let me show you. See here. Okay, projective technique, construction, constitutive, cathartic, and interpretive and reflective. Okay, uh, so we have to see now. Here we have used that constitutive. We apply in the ink blot. For ink block technique, we use the one from the constitutive, which is derived from the projective technique. We use that. This category includes those tests which require the examinee constitute structure. Examinee is the person who is the subject, who is facing the test, who is facing the unstructured ink blots given by the examiner. Okay, now I think it is a clear for you who is examinee. Examinee is equal to subject who is facing the test. Uh, constitute structures upon some given unstructured material. Okay, that unstructured material is given, and uh, that examinee has to structure his own thoughts upon that unstructured material. The Rorschach ink blot technique, that would be pronounced as Rorschach, so I have written it here. In this test, the examinee imposes own structure upon the unstructured ink blots. Okay, and the subject's responses are scored and interpreted. Means his responses are scored according to the score sheet and also interpreted and explained to the subject or the examinee itself. I think it is clear for you. Ink blot techniques. The ink blot techniques consist of two popular techniques, that is Rorschach test and the Holzmann ink blot test. In these tests, the examinee has to respond to an unstructured situation composed of some ink blots. I am explaining the point, not only just you will be able to write the answer, but the different aspects of the ink blot techniques that will facilitate you just to get the deep meaning of the test, and you can, by your own words, you can write the answer. The ink blot technique includes construction techniques. Now, about ink blot technique, we are just going through. Earlier, we have seen the different type of the projective technique. Ink blot technique is included in projective technique, but we can do this by the very different ways. We can use by constructive techniques. We can by completing some given incomplete sentences, by expressive technique, or the Rorschach ink blot test. See now the construction technique. What is construction technique? All those situations are included here in which story is constructed by the examinee on seeing the stimulus material within some given time limit. It does mean that the time is scheduled for the examinee by the examiner, and he gives, means examiner gives some incomplete or some theme in his stimulus material, in his test material, in his unstructured material. Some stimuli are there, and examinee is bound to complete the story, construct the story on given clues with the help of given clues in the limited time, in the given time. That is a construction technique. Completion technique. What is completion technique? Completion technique where some sentences are given which are incomplete, and the examinee has to complete the sentence. That is the situation in completion technique. Okay, and so his desires, his wishes, his fear, his complexes, examinee's complexes can be reflected while completion the sentence. Means those are hidden in the unconscious mind. Even the subject or examinee doesn't know. He reflects, he expresses himself in a way to outpour his thoughts, hidden thoughts. Third one is expressive technique. These include those tests where some manipulative tasks are used by examinee to depict his or her personality. Some interaction with the given material is the theme of this technique. Okay, means he has to express his emotions, his psyche, his inner thoughts, his dreams with some manipulative task. And the Rorschach ink blot test. Rorschach ink blot test was developed in 1921 by Swiss psychiatrist Hermann Rorschach. It consists of 10 ink blots, 5 in black ink on a white background, black ink on a white background, and 5 in colored inks on a white background. The Rorschach test is a measure of both the intellectual and non-intellectual personality traits. Means it does not only guess the intellectual task but also non-intellectual personality traits too. So this is the technique. That image is the card on the white background, and black image is given here. And from the picture, the examinee has to guess what is the shape, what does it mean. That he has to point out while facing the test. See, colorful image on the white background, as I have told you there. Okay, so development of the technique. How does that technique develop? Rorschach experimented with a large number of ink blots which were administered to different psychiatric groups. On the basis of such clinical observations, various psychiatric syndromes that differentiate response characteristics were taken up in the scoring system. It does mean that Rorschach experiment that technique by giving some sample responses to the different psychiatrist group, and under the clinical observation he found out the many cards, standard cards for the test. Actual working of the test. How does it works? In the test, the subjects are asked to simply state. He has just to state whatever each ink blot looks like to them. Means, how does it appear? What is hidden there in that shape? What does he guess? Means the examinee guess in that ink blot image. And from responses are scored by the psychologists using predetermined categories, because the pre-preparation is done by the psychologist, and on that predetermined categories on key factors such as color, shape, movements. I will explain this in the slides, that how does it is color determines the score, how does shape determines the score, how does movement determines the score of that particular examinee. Okay, so and whether the response is given in content to the whole or peculiar details in the blot. Means in that ink blot, whether the color response he has given, it is included in score or not. It is appropriate. The response given by the examinee uh, will be decided. Okay, appropriate response of color, appropriate response of shape, appropriate response of movement. Whether it is appropriate or inappropriate. If inappropriate, there will be minus marking. If appropriate, there will be plus marking. Purpose of test. These blots are frequently used for, means the purpose, as I have earlier explained it. Personality description means just to find out the his personality description, whether he is active, whether he is passive, whether he is energetic, whether he is dull, whether he is energetic, whether he is positive, negative, all kind of personality description and questions regarding to personality are hidden there in the test. Diagnosis of mental disorders. If there are some mental disorders or not, that will be diagnosed through this test. Behavior predictions means how the examinee will behave in the situation. That is the prediction. It is guess. It is predetermined by the psychologist. Okay, behavior predictions. The whole procedure of Rorschach test is combined set of three components. Okay, means Rorschach test is a combined set of three components. Which are these three components? That can be three stages. That can be called as a three stages. First component is a performance proper. That is the first stage. Second component is inquiry, that is the second stage, and third is scoring, that is the third stage. He designed hundreds of ink blots and tested them on 300 patients and 100 controls, and ultimately he claimed these splotches or blotches or the blots could be used to diagnose mental illness. Means he experienced with a lot of people, with a lot of psychiatrists, psychologists, or the who are interested in the psychological studies. So 300 patients and the 100 controls, and from the output he structured the 10 cards. He structured the 10 cards. Administration of Rorschach test. The administration of Rorschach test can be put up in two stages as given below. Performance proper. In this point, the examinee is asked to get seated and rapport is established with him. Means the proper rapport is necessary between the examiner and examinee. Then only that performance or the result of the test will be authentic. Okay, first plate is then handled to the client or the subject or the examinee with the question, what do you think this could be? What is the question? Proper question to the examinee. What do you think this could be? This could be means this card or this ink blot could be. Okay, that is the question. During the process, the examinee needs to be careful about the following things. Means the things to be cared by the examinee. Which are those things? Which care should be taken by examinee? That reaction time, which means the time gap between the card presentation and examinee's response. Okay, reaction time is counted after the in the record of the examiner. So it is told clearly to examinee or the subject or the client. So the presentation of the card and the response of the examinee, and that time is scored, is counted by the examiner. Exclamation and comments are excluded from the scoring. So in between, some points to be explained by examiner, and some comments are to be expressed by the examinee. Means doubt clearing session will be there, and that doubt clearing session uh, time would not be counted in the whole time. Okay. The position of the card is also taken account of while examinee is responding. So how the position is of the card from the side of examinee, not from the side of the examiner. Means in which direction he has moved around the card, that is taken into consideration by the examiner. Means upward direction, downward direction, left direction, right direction. These are the symbol just to show, depending on the direction in which the card is turned. Okay, the responses are recorded verbatim. The word is very important. Verbatim means the ditto. Means whatever is told by the man, the client, in the same word, it is recorded. No or explanation, elaborated writing will not be there by the psychologist or the examiner. Means the words, actual words, should be written in the uh, noting, by examiner. So verbatim for reason that the examiner can read it and analyze the same effectively. So he has to analyze his words, his responses. So the same ditto words are necessary here. The total time for which the card is kept by subject is also recorded. Means total time is also recorded. The time lapse between the presentation of card and the first response the subject gives is called the reaction time. See here, reaction time, and it is necessary just till the end of the experiment. Okay, reaction time, the first response and the presentation of the first card, and that reaction time is noted there. You can see here how the different people are giving the responses at the different time. We have same picture, but the time taken by these all 7 people have the different time they have taken. And so again you can see the thing first, then second and third and fourth and fifth and sixth and the 7th one. Means different duration is taken by the different people just to react to the image given, and the time is different and the reaction and the responses are also different. Here you can see the response sheet in whole, in the way that response sheet is made. We will see it more clearly. See, response sheet. Name of the subject means the client, date of administration, subject ID, education, age. Means all these things affect the responses. And so all these things are added here. And these are the division made for the inquiry and responses. Okay. See, and those short form or the acronyms. CN stands for card number, RT1 stand for reaction time to first response, RTT total time is the first response, that is called RT1, response 1, reaction time for response 1 is RT1. Then total time spent on the card, 10 cards. Okay, there are the 10 cards, and so total time, that is just seen by here, total time. Okay, just I will take the highlighter just to show you. And L is a location, means the blot area, because that as you will see further, that image is given there in the card, Sometimes there are the various area with the ink is covered, but on particular area there is a response by the left area, by the right area, by the middle area, by the top area. This the responses are given by the clients at according to the different area. Okay, so that is the uh, card position, orientation and location. That is the blot area. D for determinant. We will see what which are the determinants in the ink blot test. C for content, P for popular. Okay, these are the long full forms of the acronyms used in the last slide. See here, CN, RT1, RTT, okay, CP, then LDCP. Okay, so now the concept of card position, as in the earlier slide we have seen that the position, what does mean by position, that we will see here. It is the position of the card at which a subject produces a response. It is called orientation. It is also called orientation, card position or orientation. The Rorschach plates are presented to a subject in top card positions. However, a subject is free to rotate. That subject is free to rotate according to his wish that card, particular card, and just to response, seeing the position as per his wish. Rotate the card and view it in any position. Means before giving response, he can see that card through any position. An ink blot serves as stimulus. Means that ink blot, it works as a stimulus. It stimulates the examinee to respond. So that test material or ink cards work here as a stimulus for the examinee or for a subject. Okay, the nature of stimulus changes with each card position because there are 10 cards, and the nature of that stimulus changes with each card. Each card. The retinal image changes with every change in the card position. You may appreciate it by holding a Rorschach plate in various positions and see the change in stimulus with the change in card position. A Rorschach examiner is required to record all cards' position from the subject's relative position. There are 4 options to record card position. Top, directing top, arrow directing top, bottom, arrow directing bottom, left, arrow directing left, and right directing arrow. See now, we will get more familiar that verbal description, that is a visual description. See, top position. This is the card's image of card, and this is the top position. Okay, this is a right position. See, this is rotated towards the right. This is the bottom position of the card. It is rotated downward, and this is rotated to the left position. So, taking these 4 angles, examining observes, examiner observes, and examinee, while examinee administrate the work. Okay. Importance of 10 plates in the ink blot test. As we have seen, there are the 10 cards which are called 10 plates are presented in a sequential manner. Means the sequence is decided. Which should be the first, which should be the last, which should be the second. That is the sequence of the cards. After the research on it, that sequence is scheduled. The total number of responses is also termed as response productivity ratio and is coded as R. Okay, response productivity ratio. The total number of responses according to total number of responses, that productivity ratio is taken out. On a Rorschach protocol, for most adults, the score varies from 15 to 30. It's a case of the adults. Second stage is the first we have seen. Now the second one we are going to. Second stage is inquiry. Okay. Vague and uncertain response. What is done in the second stage? Vague and uncertain response by examinee is noted down to be clarified in the second stage of administration. This is the second stage of administration. So whatever happened in the first stage, where the proper rapport between the examiner and examinee, and the response which have been given by the examinee, some of the responses are vague and uncertain. So examiner notes them down because he has to clarify it in the second stage of administration, and that is inquiry. It is taken up after obtaining responses on all 10 cards during performance proper. As we have seen, performance proper is the first stage of the administration, and all the responses have been taken. They are pursued, they are studied, and the second stage begins where the clarification of these responses are given by examiner. The basic purpose of concluding inquiry is to collect all the necessary information for accurate scoring of the responses. What is the need of this stage? What is the need of performance proper? We have seen. What is need of the second stage? That is the inquiry. That is just to get the accurate observation for the accurate scoring of the responses, because there must be the accurate scoring for the responses, and so this is necessary. Otherwise examinee cannot be agreed with the examiner. Second stage, inquiry. Here a location sheet is presented before the examinee, and he is asked to locate the part on the basis of which he has responded, so as to maintain a permanent record of the area of the blot used by the subject in responding. Here it is explained that location sheet is presented before the examinee. See, if you see this location, this score will be given. Means he makes examinee agree. He makes examinee agree for the particular thing. You will understand what is a location sheet and what is the part of the that ink blot sheet with the further, and that permanent record of the area of the blot used by the subject in responding. Means the whole image is there, and if the respondent or the client is giving the response on the part of that image, and that part of the image is the area of the ink blot. Okay. The questions framed for inquiry stage are based on examiner's skills and expertise. Achromatic and chromatic ink blots. These words are not given there in our book, but I have just explained it, that colorful images and black and white images. Okay, so ink blots can be prepared with the black ink only or with the hues like red, green, blue. The black ink pots are called achromatic, and the ink blots having colors other than black are called chromatic. Following ink blots exemplify the concept of achromatic and chromatic ink blots. See, achromatic and chromatic. These are the only black and white images, and chromatic ink blots on the background of white. These colorful images have been images of the ink have been provided. The concept of shape appropriateness. Shape appropriateness is determined for each and every response attribute. If the he or the person sees any image of animal, man, insect, or the thing in that particular ink blot, whether it is appropriate or not, it will be decided by examiner, and that response will get the score. In shape appropriateness, it is judged if shape of the pursued object resembles the contours of the extracted blot area. It does mean that if there is a response that I look bird here in that image, and whether indeed it looks like a bird, that image looks like a bird, means that is appropriate. If it does not, if there is no shape of the bird, that is inappropriate. Okay, so the concept of shape appropriateness is pursued by the examiner and scored. See here, examples of shape appropriate object. Here we can call movement appropriate object or the location appropriate object. Here we will see first examples of shape appropriate object. Response 1, bat. Bat comment. The pursued object bat matches or resemblance with the shape. If the examinee has told that he had seen the bat image in this ink blot, and it is indeed appropriate because it resemblance with the shape of the bat, and so shape appropriate object. If comments the pursued object woman, if he says I see woman there in the ink blot object, he will get 0 score because it does not match or resemble with the shape of the total blot area. Total blot area. This is the total blot area. Okay. And there is no image of the woman can be seen, but he responds, I see woman there. And this is not clear. And so that will be in shape in inappropriate object. Okay. See here, two ladies after seeing this image or ink blot card, the movement is seen by the respondent, by the client. What is the movement? Two ladies. See here, two ladies. One lady and this is the second lady. Water, filling the water. See here, this is the pot where they are filling the water. This is the water. The two ladies filling. So this is a movement. This is the movement they have seen of the filling of the water in the pot. And that is a movement appropriate shape. Movement appropriate shape. They have seen the movement or the action here. Okay. So that is the earthen pot. That is the earthen pot. Means three objects have been seen here. Earthen pots, ladies and the water. Three aspects are there to be observed by examinee. Such instances, you could trace all the objects and mention the name of the object on the location chart itself. Okay, this is appropriate. So in the location chart, right tick will be given. The concept of shape appropriateness, the concept of movement appropriateness, anything can be there. Shape appropriateness is determined for each and every response attribute. Second, in shape appropriateness, it is judged if the shape of the pursued object resembles the contours of the extracted blot area. Scoring of Rorschach test. The major differences among the various scoring systems of the Rorschach test flourished in 1930s to the 1960s. There is also the focus of concern for Rorschach interpretation based either on the content of the response or on their formal characteristic such as location, determinants, form, quality, the various quantitative summaries derived from the responses. That is the content. Means he take responses and the formal characteristic, just like where is the location, determinants, and many more things while scoring the test. Location. Now we have to see the location. Scoring of location is important. Location refers to that part of the plot with which each response of the subject is associated. So, for example, whether the whole blot or a common detail or a usual detail has been used by the respondent and are scored as W, D, small d, or capital D and small d, etc. These are the acronyms. These are the acronyms. The determinants. Which are the determinants? The determinants of the response include form. Bad form is seen by that particular man. Movement of the two women filling the water in the pot. Okay, movement movement is the determinant there. Color is the determinant there. Some red color is seen there, and he resembles examinee relate that red color with the blood, and means color shading of the blood. Means that will be the determinants. Are coded as F for form, C for color shading, okay, M for movement. All these things have the acronyms, and that is the code word stand for the different kind of actions. The respondent's perception of the blot as a moving object is scored in the context of movement. There will be in that table, there will be the score regarding to movement. The various types of movements include human movement, animal movement, bird movement, object movement. Anything can be included in that movement column. See here examples of human action response to and the action appropriate or inappropriate. Movement is appropriate or inappropriate. If the examinee see here, two persons are dancing. See, this is the cap portion, hat portion, this is the body portion, this is the leg portion, and these are the two hands, and they are symmetrically dancing. So it is a appropriate action, and it will be given the score, positive score. This is the Rorschach psychodynastic report, where the variables, symbols, reference value, results, rating, interpretation, everything is given. Total number of response stand for the TR, total number of response. Total blot area, that is W, and this thing, common blot areas, uncommon blot areas, capital D and small d. Okay, and interpretation. Interpretation column is there. Rating, high, average, average. Means as per the predetermined score sheet will decide whether it is high or where it is a average, because that reference value is in between, and then it is decided whether it is high, average, average for the each common blot area, total blot area. Color form color is the second part of the sheet we have seen earlier. Form color FC, black and white, tactile, then 3 dimension, everything is given here in that report card. Now we are going for the Holzmann ink blot test. Holzmann developed an ink blot test known as Holzmann ink blot test. This test was developed by Holzmann in order to remove the inherent technical difficulties of the Rorschach, like unlimited number of responses. Means some drawbacks are there in the Rorschach test. So just to remove those drawbacks, he has made his own ink blot test. There are two parallel forms A and B having 45 cards, and he scored it unlimited number of responses, poor scorer, reliability, etc. म्हणजे रोर शॅक टेस्ट मधल्या ज्या काही डिफिकल्टीज होत्या ते एक पहिली होती, द फर्स्ट वन वॉज अनलिमिटेड नंबर ऑफ द रिस्पॉन्स, देन पुअर स्कोरर, रिलायबिलिटी, एक्सेट्रा. Okay, so having 45 cards, both colored and achromatic and markedly asymmetric, one response per card is taken by the respondent. Each response is followed by twofold simple question. One question is, where was the percept represented in the blot? Means which part of the blot is perception, having the perception by the respondent. And the second question is that the percept suggests about the blot. Okay. All the responses are then classified under 22 response variables. 22 response variables. So, the Holtzman ink-pot test. Recently, Holtzman has also developed a variant of HIT called HIT 25, consisting of 25 cards. It has been found to be successful in diagnosing schizophrenia. The TAT. This test was developed by Henry Murray and his colleagues Morgan and Murray. The thematic appreciation test, acronym of the thematic appreciation test is the TAT, consists of 20 pictures which are black and white. 20 pictures, not the 10 cards, but the 20 pictures which are black and white, not colored. The people depicted in the picture are deliberately drawn in ambiguous situation, in the cryptic situation, in the mysterious situation, means which are not clear to read. Okay, after showing the picture, what is seen there? A story is to be told by the client about the person or the people in the picture. What is to be done first? A story. The client has to tell the story while seeing that ambiguous situation picture. Second, they have to say what is happening in the picture, means the movement. What is happening in the picture. Then third, what has caused the event, means whatever the event is happened there, what is the cause of that? He has to express. Then what could have taken place in the past, means after seeing that picture, he has to guess what could have taken place in the past, why this event happened in the past. And the next, he has to tell what would have happened in the future. What would happen in the future? He has to pre-tell. He has to pre-tell that the happening in the future. The story narrated by the client is interpreted by the psychologist, who tries to look for revealing statements and projection of the client's hidden emotion onto the characters in the picture. As in the benefit of the TAT, means the thematic appreciation test, is that after this narration of the story, psychologists interpret that story again and tries to look for revealing statements and projection of the client's hidden emotions. Means his test is the screen. On that screen, client's hidden emotions are reflected through the story, and he explain it. He analyze it. Okay, means psychologists analyze what is told by the narrator. means the hidden emotions, hidden desires, hidden fears, hidden complexes, all are tried to come on the or print on the screen. This is a special feature of the TAT ink blot technique. However, TAT has been used extensively in the research of personality, but high variations in administration and scoring procedures associated with TAT has made it quite difficult to investigate psychometric properties of the TAT. Nevertheless, the value of thematic appreciation technique has been confirmed, and also the clinical utility of various versions of the TAT, both for traditional and specific applications, have been established. Means some limitations are there of TAT and some positive responses are there of the TAT. In the original interpretation, method of TAT scores, the examiner first determines who is the hero. Examiner first determines who is the hero, the character of the either sex with whom the respondent presumably identify himself or herself. Means the picture with whom the examinee relate himself, means that picture is called as a hero, and first it is determined by the examiner. The content of the stories is then analyzed in reference to Murray's list of needs and praise. Achievement, affiliation, and aggression are the examples of needs, whereas praise refers to environmental forces that may facilitate or interfere with the need satisfaction. However, that has been used extensively in the research of personality. Limitations of the projective test. Projective tests are basically subjective in nature, and the interpretation of the answers of clients needs deep analytic and artistic traits. And so it is subjective, it varies from person to person, and so that is the limitation of the test. Reliability and validity related problems always exist in projective tests. Means how it is reliable, how it is valid, uh, is the question mark always for the projective test. There are no standard grading scales for projective test. Persons varying moods may decide the person's answer, which may vary considerably from one day to another. Means if the examinee is the same, but even uh, the responses he gives are different. Responses vary according to his mood, according to the weather, or there are the different factors which can affect the examinee's responses. So that is the limitation of projective test. Some situation variables like examiner's physical characteristics are likely to influence the responses on projective techniques. We can call it halo effect also. Exam examiner If examiner changes, the result changes, and so these situational variables affect the projective test. So this is one more limitation. It has also been seen that the change instructions on the part of examiner also influence the examinee's scores on the projective techniques to a great extent. Means it changes, it varies according to the change of examiner. If the examiner clearly instruct each and everything to the examinee before the beginning of the test, and without giving any instruction if it starts, So responses get different. So score also has have been always changing as per the situational variables. So the word situational variable is also very important. Limitation, more limitations. A number of evidences show that most studies of projective techniques are guided by methodological flaws and are ill designed. Okay, projective techniques are not guided by any consistent, meaningful, and testable theories. There is no evidence showing a relationship between global interpretation of projective techniques by experts and psychiatrists. Means uh, analysis of some examinee is seen. So it is not always authentic on the global scenario. Means that global interpretation varies from place to place, state to state, nation to nation, area to area, and so that is the limitation, that there is no special global interpretation of the projective technique by experts and psychiatrists is provided. Generally, projective techniques have poor predictive ability. This is the another limitation. Poor predictive ability regarding failure or success in various walks of life, in various parts of life, or in various spheres of life. Now for the conclusion, we can in fact looking at behavior from different perspective can often bring insights into a person's behavior that would not easily come from taking only one perspective. Means different perspective should be taken into consideration while applying ink blot test. Therefore, many of the professional doing personality assessment use different perspectives and also take different techniques for its assessment, because various methods are there for personality assessment and the different tests have been applied by the examiner. Finally, including ink blot test, projective techniques are an effective tool to reveal the latent or the hidden aspect of personality that remain embedded in the unconscious mind until uncovered. Means after it is change into action and it is explained by the psychiatrist, then only the examinee understand his behavior which is hidden in his unconscious mind. In this context, it is pertinent to mention here that the Rorschach ink blot test was never developed as a psychometric tool. Rather, it was developed as an instrument to aid in the clinical diagnosis. To briefly state about this test, it can be concluded that more research still needs to be conducted to invent a standard method of administration and scoring of Rorschach test. Here we are going to end our explanation of question, and now we will get into the new question. Till then, be in study of your psychology.